I am Jean Giraud, alias Moebius, and I work in comics since 40 years now. I started with stories was connected to United States. Especially my first work was about the West, a Western story called Blueberry. And I did 25 books about that saga. And meanwhile, I started in 70s to do science fiction as Moebius. Took that name and I was 21, it was a joke, and I thought it was for 6 months or 2 weeks. And now many people call me Moebius, they don't know my real name. So it's done. I don't know why I did that, but what I know, it's a nice name. I like it, and it's full of strange sounds and meanings I discovered by the years. And I think I had a very good intuition when I took it. And I did many books, and I worked a lot here for heavy metal. I worked for movies, Tron, Alien, Abyss. Now I'm preparing to do more things, more movies, more comics. You know, it's my life. I'm into film since a long time, but now I'm into film in a better level. You know, it's growing up a little bit. Not in quantity, but in quality. I write stories, I write scenarios, and the scenarios are interesting now, and they have the possibility to make movie from those stories. So we have contact with producer, directors. And also about Blueberry, there are many possibilities now to do a movie here in Hollywood. So we are into discussions and contract and all that stuff. My ideas in movies are closer than the Hollywood system, than the European system, because I never tried to make movies in Europe or nowhere. I just dreamed. But my dreams are much closer than the American cinema, than the European cinema. Like, for example, Luc Besson or Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Now there are a new generation in director in France. They try to do that kind of movies, you know, with action and more ideas, science fiction, fantastic. And it's a different generation. And I was a little bit that way, but I never tried to be involved really in movies because I had the comics to do. But because I met a lot of directors, I work into movies. I had step by step, I went to the business. But sure that the difference between movies and here and Europe is big, but the difference between the comics too is big. But in comics too, what I do is not completely European, you know, it's more international. I have a lot of influence here in America, the underground, but also the classic artists in the 50s, like Milton Caniff or Alex Raymond, the old generation. But also the underground, Corbin or I was really influenced by the American art, not only in comics, but in movies, in music. I was a fan of jazz, I was a fan of Western musicals and action movies. So my culture is half European and half American. Airtight Garage. I did that in a very special mood and situation. It was just after the creation of that magazine, Heavy Metal in France, Metal Hurlant, and I wanted to give every month something, and a small page or 2 or 3, but something. The minimum was 1 page. And I did that for maybe 3 or 4 years, and I didn't have any story. I just wanted to give the pages, the beginning of the project. But I saw in those strange conditions, I saw a story coming, step by step, you know. And at the end, the last 20 pages, it was time to finish, and I took all the story and I tried to make a hand, and I did it, you know. It was very, very magic. And now, when I see that story, I see it's a kind of diary for 4 years, and each page is different than the page before and the page after, and it's a very strange story, and I don't think it's possible to recreate that. I tried to recreate that, but it was impossible. The conditions are finished. It doesn't come back, never, I don't think so. So for me, it's a kind of strange and unique performance I did. In everything I do, there are a moment or a little space in a painting or 2 or 3 pages in a book I don't like. Because when I do a book, it's generally between 3 and 10 months work. It's difficult to stay in the top every day for 6 months, you know. There are always a week where you you are depressed or something comes, you don't like it, but it's because it's commercial, you have to go on, and you let the bad thing goes, and it stays forever after, you know. So when I open a book, I can see a kind of scanning of my psychic life in 6 months, with the high levels and the low levels.